I'm going to ask Andrea to come up here and just speak for a few moments about the ministry. As she's coming, though, how many of you remember Paul Turner? That's Paul Turner right there. Loved him. Loved him. He was a man of God. That was his too. Yep. He would come to Gateway every year. And I absolutely just loved the way he presented truth. After one service, I was teaching at Gateway Christian Academy at the time. And I had 5 little children. And I went to Paul. Literally, I was weeping. And I said, Paul, I want my children to go to heaven with me. What can I do? He said, if you keep walking with the Lord, your face on his, he will bring them. And he has. I can honestly say all 5 of mine have a strong testimony of not only knowing Christ, walking in him, which Andrea is our oldest, and she is involved in our ministry. So if you would talk about the work.
I just put a piece of ginger in my mouth. I apologize. I wasn't expecting to be up here. Faith Overseas Mission has a long history, one that I could not hope to present well in just a few minutes. But it is something that I would love to talk with you about further. It is a nationally run ministry based in the Philippines. The hub of it is in a province called Pangasinan, but there is also a church in Metro Manila. And I say one church, but there's actually 2 now because my friend has planted one in the last several years, despite all of the COVID restrictions. But I have been able to spend more time probably in Manila because I've been able to live there. And I was sharing with Miss Pearl and Miss Ella that I was going back when COVID hit, and I have not been able to go back since. But the Lord, He has not redirected my heart. I still would love to be there on a more permanent basis, but He has put a pause on that, and His timing is perfect, and so I am content. But Faith Overseas Mission has impacted me in a far greater way than I could ever hope to be used in their lives. And one way that it's done that is that, and we've talked a little bit about it this morning, individually and Dad from the pulpit, but the world is changing. You know, our world has changed. I am so blessed because of the parents that I have and the grandparents that I have that this kind of setting is natural for me. It's comfortable and I actually love it. But a lot of people my age, that is not the case. And a lot of the ministries that are happening around us, either locally or on a more global scale, but we can see into them, they would not afford me what FOM has. The Lord has blessed me so much because I am able to be a part of a ministry that is biblical, that is scriptural, and that God is moving in. And so even though I'm 8,000 miles away, I'm still very much involved. My dearest friends are there. He's giving me the grace to learn the language. And I'm just more blessed than I can tell you. But I will tell you a little bit. So Dad mentioned that we have 12 churches right now that we are currently supporting. In the 40 plus, almost 50, man, the 70s was about 50 years ago, wasn't it? In about 50 years that Faith Overseas was begun, there have been over 50 churches planted. And I want to say over 300 to 400 graduates. I'm not great with numbers. I don't think numbers are that important. But it has had a great impact on the lives of people there. But there are 12 churches that we are currently supporting. The goal of the church is to become self-supporting. That will not always happen based upon where the church is located, just the demographic, whether or not the people in that area could support a pastor or a church. But all of the churches appreciate the fellowship that they have and the support of each other. But there are 4 church plants that we have right now, and those have just started during the COVID period. That is incredible. There are churches here that have closed. They're not opening their doors, or they're growing, but they're not teaching truth. We have 4 church plants with people around my age who have given their lives to reaching their communities for Christ. So I would love to come back and to be able to share more with you about that, to go into greater detail if you're so interested. I do have some cards. Now I am young, but I am not the most technologically inclined person. But there is something called a QR code. Do you guys know what that is, Josh? Do you know? Yeah, okay. So I have some of those that will lead you right to our website, which gives you a pretty good overview of the ministry. The Facebook page will give you a more day-to-day glimpse. And it does tend to, I've noticed lately that I tend to just share pictures from the same 3 or 4 churches, but that's because they're the ones who share pictures with me. I can't get others to be more involved on Facebook, and that's just the way it is, and that's okay. But if you are interested in those, I have those. Thank you so much for letting me speak. Thank you for listening, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you. Can you tell why I let her speak? She gets her abilities and her looks from me. Okay, that's not necessarily true. But Andrea has really grown and matured in the Lord. She speaks very well, and she loves the ministry.